Live.
Hi. Oh, he started that before I knew he started it.
I did say.
We were having a conversation. He said, and he went, "Yeah, you're live." Oh, okay. Hi, hi, everybody. How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Weather's gorgeous again. Oh, hang on. Is that my phone or your phone peeping?
That's my phone.
It's your phone peeping. Okay. It's gorgeous weather again today. Beautiful, beautiful day. I'm working from home today because I have got so much pattern writing to do. Ready for Chanda. I've got to get 3 patterns finished written up today, so I've managed to. I'm about 1.5 through at the moment, so hopefully it's peace and quiet. Drew will be going to work in a minute, but Tom's at school, Josh is out at work, Alex hasn't surfaced yet, so it's been lush and quiet. I just ploughed through them, which is nice. How is everybody who's coming online?
Waiting for people to come.
Just waiting for people to come on. People there? Got people watching?
Got people. Was this 13 watching? But no.
Ah, cool. Hi. Hi, everybody. Say hello if you're there. Just let us know whether the comments are coming through or not. I put a challenge post on yesterday. Some lots and lots of bags. Oh, there's some fabulous ones there. It's really nice to see a couple of crocheted ones as well. I think it was Jill Fisher. You put a crocheted one on, which looked really, really cool. And Dawn, I love that craft bag you did. That was amazing. What was it? There was another one I really liked as well. Oh, there was Wendy's Seminole bag. I remember us working on that, turning a piece of Seminole quilting into a bag in classes when we were allowed them. What else did I like? Oh, I really like the Highland cow one as well. Sorry, I can't remember who posted what now, whose pictures were what, but there's been some really, really lovely ones posting online. So Sarah will pull that tomorrow on the 1 o'clock. So there is a challenge post up. It's on the Gigglers page as well as our own, the business page. Post away your bags. Let's post some bags and let's see what you've been making, and we'll do a free prize draw like with all the challenge posts. Quite a few of you have took us up on the daily deal yesterday. As soon as I've finished here, that will be coming off. Okay, so you've got basically the time it takes me to do this video before I go on and take off the fat 8th deal that we did yesterday. Yeah, there's been loads of orders come through today, which is nice, and seeing things pinging through. So we are going to do a block today, and this has been requested by about 5 or 6 different people have asked about this one. I think maybe because it's curves, and I think you're all sometimes a little bit scared of curves. So we're going to have a little tack on, and I'm going to show you like the traditional way of doing curves, and then I'm going to show you my cheats way. It's not actually my technique, it's something I learned from somebody else, but I don't use pins at all now with curves. I use this technique, and it, touch wood, it works every time. I don't have any problems with it at all. So I'm going to show you sort of both ways. The template and pattern. So for those of you who don't know what New York Beauty is, this is New York Beauty. Okay. This is just a single New York Beauty. Okay. The pattern I'm using is from Teresa Down Under. She's got a little YouTube video, and her template was a really nice, easy one to do. Actually, sorry, 2 seconds. I've just realised I've left it over there. It was nice and easy. You can get chucking all sorts of things around. That's not what I need either. You can get all sorts of different types of New York Beauties. You can get like double ones where you have like double ones of these. Okay, where you get 2 lots and stuff. But I've gone just with a single New York Beauty. Okay. The pattern, it's not a free one. There are free ones out there, and you can absolutely scout around and find some free ones. It cost me £2.40 for the pattern and the template. I'm prepared to do that. She's done all the hard work of designing it, so I've paid the £2.40 for mine. I'll put a link directly to this on our Facebook afterwards, okay? It came with a really nice foundation piece and template, okay? And then 2 templates for your curves, okay? Which I'm just going to cut out. Now, you can absolutely do it onto paper. You can stitch directly, print this out lots and lots of times and do it onto paper if you like that. But remember, obviously, you have to tear the paper out if you do that. As always with foundation piecing, I like to do it on stitch and tear. You can leave it in, and I think it helps stabilise it as well. So I did a little sample up last night. They come out at 7-inch blocks. Okay, you can get smaller ones, you can get bigger ones. I'm doing a different quilt now, and I'm going to use some of these in a border. I'm going to actually turn them and do them as like a ribbon border, so it goes like that and comes down like that and then goes back up like that. So I've got like half circles as a border, which is why I'm doing it as a 7-inch block, and that's what this one is. If you want 12-inch blocks, there are hundreds out there. Go onto Pinterest, there's lots and lots out there for 12-inch if you're doing it in your isolations. There's also little tiny diddy ones. You can get like 4-inch blocks, which frankly, I'm not that much of a masochist. I'm not sure I would do little tiny blocks like that. Not my cup of tea. It would take too long to make a quilt. I'm using some oak shop fabrics because again, it's going to be part of another quilt, so I'm keeping with the same theme of fabrics. But I've done this one just in 2 colours, but the second one that we're going to do now, I'm going to do in different colours to show you. Okay, so so you would go ahead and trace out, if you're going to use stitch and tear, you would trace out, as we've done before, your template onto your stitch and tear. Okay, I've already done that little bit. So before we actually start sewing, who's there? Anybody saying hello?
Yeah, we've got Sonia, we've got Lisa.
Hi Sonia, hi Lisa.
Natalie says hello.
Hi Natalie.
Wendy, Eileen, and
Lovely,
Grace,
lovely. Hi everybody. So this first little bit, how we get this little bit here, okay, is foundation piecing. So I'm going to take you through that. I know we've done it before, but it's always, I think, good to have a refresher if you haven't done it for a little while. The starting off bit is some people find difficult. I still have to double check myself and go, oh, yep, that's right, when I do the first one. So I've cut myself lots and lots of little rectangles of fabric. How I worked out what size I needed, okay, so I grabbed a ruler and I measured right across the width there, okay, so like the widest part of one of the triangles, all right, and it's coming out about 3 inches, but because it goes on an angle, you need to give yourself some room to play with, okay, so I've cut them 4 inches long. You could probably get away with 3.5, but be kind to yourselves. So I've cut them 4 inches wide that way, okay, and then I measured the width here like that along the widest bit of a triangle, and that's coming out at 2. So I've cut them at 2.5. So I've cut them at 2.5 by 4 for this particular pattern. If it was, you know, a smaller or a bigger one, that I would do exactly the same, and I would cut myself lots of rectangles that size, okay. So very first one. Now, it's probably not the right fabric to show you on because there's not a right and a wrong side. Just thought about that. But we're going to put wrong side to the wrong side of the stitch and tear. So not the side you've drawn on, or if you're using the template, it would be on the back. So we would put the fabric on the back so that we can see the stitching lines. So all the fabric goes on the back, or the stitching happens on the front, okay? So first one, I'm going to put right over like that, and I tend to hold it up to the light. Now this is going to be really hard for you guys to see. Hang on just a second. Let me see. No, I'm hoping you guys can see that. Can you see if I hold it up to the light, I don't know if you can see that on the screen, Drew. Yeah. Can you see that the fabric is completely covering number 1?
I can see it.
You can just about see that through the screen, yeah? Okay, obviously in real life it's a lot easier to see. But you just want to make sure that that first fabric is completely covering your number 1 triangle, okay? And you also want to make sure that it's coming far enough over that it's into your little seam allowance, because this is going to be the edge and this is your seam allowance, okay? That's your 1/4 inch seam allowance there, all right? If it can hit that line, outside line, brilliant. If it doesn't quite hit that line, don't worry too much, as long as you've got enough in your seam allowance that it's not going to pull apart, okay? I'm now just going to pop a pin just down here just to hold that in place just a second, okay? Sorry, trying to do this towards you, that side, all right? Now I'm going to fold the stitch and tear, or the paper, whichever you're using, back along the line between 1 and 2. So we're going to fold that back like that, okay? Now, I can't find my 1/4 inch ruler for love nor money. I know I had it on Friday because we did a whole foundation piece in class, but do you think I can find it? It's lost in the depths of my sewing room. So I'm just going to use a normal ruler, okay, but a quarter inch. The little quarter-inch rulers are brilliant for this. We've got some back in stock, so they are on the website. I'm going to line up my quarter-inch line on the fold of the paper or the stitch and tear, whichever you're using, okay, like that, and you're going to trim off the excess, okay. So I've got a little quarter-inch seam allowance there. I'm going to unfold the stitch and tear, okay. Actually, if I put this behind, you might be able to see it a little bit better. There we go. Can you see that this is my line here that I'm going to stitch on, and that fabric now extends 1/4 of an inch past it, okay. We'll flip back over like that. I'm going to grab my next colour. So I'm going to go with this one here. And I'm going to line the raw edge up against the raw edge that I've just trimmed, like that, okay. Hold them nice and tightly together so they don't move. Flip it back over and pin it in place so you've got them together. And now, hopefully you can see on the paper, you've got both of them sat at 1/4 of an inch over this line, okay. We're now going to stitch from here down to here, so on the line between 1 and 2. You want to back stitch just at the ends, both sides, back stitch or lock stitch, whichever you use, okay. Don't try not to extend in past the lines into the seam allowance, because that will affect the way things fold, okay. So we're just going to stitch from there to there. So I'm going to whip over to the sewing machine, and ladies, have a chat with me. Who took us up on the Fat 8th offer? Have you, which of you have done foundation piecing before? I know we've done. We did a block which was foundation piecing for the isolation quilt. What else did we do? Oh, sorry, the other thing I would do is also take my stitch length down. I take it down to about 1.8 to 2, okay? Particularly if you're using paper. If you're using paper, not stitch and tear, I'd take it down to like 1.5. It'll mean you perforate the paper more and it rips out much, much easier, okay? So I'm just going to stitch down there. So who's had a go at foundation piecing? I know some of you will have, because we've done a couple of sessions on it. Who loves it? Who hates it? Some people hate it. I really love it. It's one of my favourite techniques. I use it a lot in my own sort of quilting and stuff. Okay. And now I'm using a white thread as well. I would probably normally go to a darker thread, but I'm using white so you guys can see it. All right. So I've stitched along there, and then I'm going to fold out that second fabric and give it a gentle press. Okay, you could just finger press or use one of those little seam rollers. All right, we're going to go back over to the cutting mat, and now we're going to flip it back over, and we're looking at the line between 2 and 3. So I'm going to fold the stitch and tear or the paper, whichever you're using, back on that line. Okay, and then I'm going to trim off that excess. So I've lined my 1/4 inch ruler up on the fold of the back of the stabilizer, the paper or the stitch and tear, okay, and trimmed off that excess. Open back out, and now I can add my next colour on. So I'm going to add my next colour on. So this would be right sides together, okay. So right sides together like that. Hold them tightly between my fingers, flip it over, pop a pin in. And now this time I'm going to stitch on the line between 2 and 3. So this one here, okay? So back over I go. So there's going to be lots of backwards and forwards in, I'm afraid, Drew. Okay, so I'm going to pop a lock stitch in just to hold that nice and close at the end. You're right, Drew. What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, just wondered what you were having a little look around at then. There we go. And then snip. Okay. Again, we're going to take the pin out, we're going to press it out, okay, like that, trim off the excess. So next line is between 3 and 4. Okay, so you can see I've got, and this line, so this is my next line here. And we're just going to continue up this whole shape, filling in these triangles. It's a nice, simple, easy little pattern for foundation piecing, this one. There's not lots and lots of little overlapping pieces that you've got to go in all different directions. Which one did I just use? So I used that one. So I've used that one, that one, that one. Let's try this one. Okay. So I'm going to put that one in like that. Right sides together. There's the right side of that one. Ooh. Don't catch it. like that. Flip it over, pop a pin in, and away we go again. So down between 3 and 4. Okay. So talk to me, ladies, while I put my way through this. What are you up to? What have you been doing? Are you enjoying the sunshine? Lisa, did you mow your lawn in the end? Did you have to do it? What have you been doing? Anything exciting? Anybody off doing anything this weekend? I mean, obviously we've got to be careful again, haven't we? The social distancing and stuff, but didn't like that. But you know, did you have a weekend away booked or something? Is somebody doing anything nice? Anybody?
Jean said she hasn't done foundation piecing.
Who's that?
She hasn't tried, Jean.
Jean. Oh, I'll definitely have a little go, lovely. It's a lot easier than people think it is. It really is. And it gives you really precise points and stuff as well. Okay, so I've done that one. I'm going to go between 4 and 5. And like I said, this pattern, this particular template, there are lots out there. There are hundreds out there for New York Beauty. But this particular template was from a lady called, company's called Teresa Down Under. She actually does some fab videos on Facebook. Definitely worth checking out. So here's my next one, like that. Right sides together.
Lisa said yes, lol, and I was worn out.
Oh, bless you. Telling you. Ooh, I think my thread's come undone. And just check the tension. Yeah, my tension. I was going to say, what's going on with the tension with that one? My thread had popped out. My bobbin thread had popped out. In fact, before I stitch that one on, I'm just going to have to re-stitch that line because the tension had gone on it. Let me just quickly re-stitch that line. Oh no, actually no, it's okay. It's all right. It looked a bit dodgy, but it's not. So, yeah, I hate mowing the lawn. It's one of my real bugbears. I don't do it. I think I've probably only done it about twice in my whole life. It's a boy job, definitely a boy job. Sod the feminist in me, that's a boy job. Anybody else there having a chat?
Marilyn says she's going down to West Wales for a few days.
You going back down to the caravan, are you, Marilyn? Lovely. Was that Marilyn Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, I don't know, we hardly see you now, my darling. You're always down there. It is beautiful though, isn't it? It's such a lovely bit of the world.
Lisa said, would you say this was easier than the Nella Star? Nell Star?
Yes, Nell Star. Yes, that was foundation piecing. That one's that one has got more sort of angles in it, and you've got to be really careful. This one is kind of a little bit more flowy. Definitely slightly easier. I think it's. I think people worry about this block because of the curves, which we'll get to in a moment. Okay, I'm gonna have to hurry myself up a little bit, aren't I, with these, and I'll get on with them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go back to. Have I had that one in yet? Yeah, I have.
Rana says, can't wait, no kids.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. A couple of days without all the kids. Bit of peace and quiet had. No kids, no grandkids. It's just you and the hubby going? Or just you? Oh, excuse me, itchy nose. There we go. So, down that way. Nearly there, back. I'm going to have to hurry up this up a bit, otherwise we're never going to get to the curving bit, are we? So, anybody else there? Anybody else having a chat? Some of you have shown us the fact that your kits have come, your Moda kits, which is fabulous. Glad you've all got them. Well, most of you have got them, which is really cool. So we will send out a link. I'll do that probably midweek next week. Send you a link out to... we'll set up a private, like I said before, set up a private Facebook group. What am I doing now? Let's have a red one in there. Here we go. Anybody else having a chat? Anybody else up to anything?
Carolyn's just... She said, went to Western Park near us yesterday with my 3-year-old grandson. I'm worn out. Missed yesterday's 1 o'clock as a result.
Oh, never mind, love. I think having fun with your grandson is a good enough excuse. What's Western Park? Is that like just like a nice big sort of green area, like National Trustee type thing, or is it play centre? Not heard of that one. Because is it Telford Way, Carolyn, somewhere up there? Got it in my head. I might be completely wrong and muddling people up. Sorry if I am. There we go. So now between 7 and 8, and I'm just working my way down these. So I'm pushing back through 7 and 8, trimming off that excess. There we go. And then what one do I want next? That sort of bluey one, don't I? Oh, I'll just move that one a bit. Let's get that one in there. Right sides together. Hold it together and, oh, no, see that moved. And flip, pop the pin in. That's moving, that one doesn't want to stay still. There we go. Ooh. Don't put your finger in it either. And I should have danger money the amount of times I stab myself with a pin or a needle. There we go, nearly there.
Marilyn says, hubby, me and the dog.
Ah, nice. Oh, nice quiet weekend, honey. You gonna take some sewing with you? Got some sewing or I was gonna say crocheting, but not with you, love, is it? Sewing or knitting? And then nearly there, so I've got 3 more to do. So this is between 8 and 9. Fold it back, trim off the excess like that. Get rid of that bit. Okay, flip it back over. What colour do I want now? That purpley colour, don't I? There we go. I'm going to put that one in like that. Flip over and pin. Stitch down that one. So it's going to be a new newsletter going out soon. Oh, I need to tell you about that as well. New newsletter going out soon. If you haven't done so already and you'd like to receive our newsletter, you need to sign up for it. You can do it on our website. If you've signed up in previous months, you don't need to re-sign up. It stores your emails, so you'll continue getting them until you tell us not to, okay? So if you've already done it previously, you don't need to do it for, you know, a second or third time. But if you haven't signed up for it yet, it's definitely worth having a little look at, getting that signed up for. And we finished our challenge as well. That should have been my first bit of news, shouldn't it? I totally forgot about that. Should have been our first bit of news. So we finished 16 days early. Yeah, it's been amazing. It has definitely made me move more. Like, I knew that I was down on my steps last night, you know, and I had to go out and do a walk and stuff, which, you know, was not really what I wanted to do at that time of day, but it had to happen. But yeah, we completed it. We're nearly at our target, our fundraising target. I think we're about £80 short or something like that now. So if anybody hasn't sponsored us and you fancy giving us a couple of quid, you know, literally a pound would be fabulous, you know, more if you want to, obviously, but, you know, if anybody wants to sponsor us, the Just Giving link will stay live till the 28th of September. So yeah, we walked virtually from Land's End to John O'Groats, and yeah, it's been fab. You know, I mean, Sarah's walking to work and stuff now, which, you know, she wouldn't have done previously. You know, and she's even been doing it in like the wind, you know, when it's been pouring down and all. She's really kept to it and stuff. And I mean, Sian's been our star because boy, can that girl walk some steps. I think she's definitely picked up the slack sometimes when Sarah and I have been like crazy busy and, you know, doing this, which is not very active. And her job is really active. She's on the go all the time. So yeah, Sian has definitely been a little bit of a star. But yeah, if anybody hasn't sponsored us yet or would like to donate, please do pop on and do the sponsorship link before the 28th, and then we will release the money to the charities. Once it's all over and done with, we can release the money to the charities, which were Diabetes UK, Hope Rescue, which is an animal rescue, and Blood Bikes UK as well, who are all volunteers. They do amazing work, and they transfer blood and plasma and breast milk between hospitals. So, you know, if somebody's got a rare blood type and it needs getting there quickly, they do amazing work, and they're all volunteers. Nothing's funded, so it's all done by fundraising. Yeah, really lovely, lovely charity. So, right, while I've been pootling on there, I've done all of my pieces. So at the moment it doesn't look quite right, does it? So what we're going to do is we're going to now trim it down, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. We're going to trim it down. Ooh, let me get rid of all these little bits. There we go. On the outside line, okay? So not this line here, we're going on the outside line. And we're going to take off all this excess, okay? So I can do my straight lines like this with a ruler and rotary cutter, like that. And then I need my scissors, which I don't know where they've gone. Where's my big scissors gone? There we go. You could do it with a rotary cutter if you want. I just find it a bit easier with scissors. I'm just going to trim off the curve and all the excess fabric and the excess stitch and tear. Now, at this point, once you've trimmed it up, if you're using your paper, if you're using copy paper rather than stitch and tear, this is when you would remove all the paper, okay? You'd remove all your paper at this point. So all I'm doing is, sorry, I've had to turn it towards me just slightly. It's just trimming round on the excess line, okay? So that, there we go. I'll just get rid of all of this nonsense. Here we go. Get rid of all of that into a little textile bin over there. Here we go. And so I've got something that looks like this. Okay, I ended up with something that looks a little bit like that. Now, kind of not liking that red one there. Wish that red one was down there. Wish I'd have swapped those, but it is what it is. Okay, so with this one, I just did the same colours. You know, I alternated colours. This one, I decided I'd do all sorts of colours, okay? Next thing we want to do is we want to cut out the two templates, which is, this is going to sit down in here, and then this one is going to sit up in here, all right? Now, I'm going to do this one slightly different again. I'm going to have a different colour here to here, okay? That one I've done very plainly. This one I'm playing around a bit with, okay? So I'm going to just pop my template onto a piece of fabric that's just a weeny bit bigger. And I need a pencil because it's a dark fabric. And we're going to trim up, draw round this template, okay? Actually, I can probably get away with doing that one and that one by rotary cutter and ruler. Okay, and then I'm going to draw around that curve and cut it out with scissors. Okay, so what's everyone saying just while I'm doing this, love?
Marilyn says you make it look so easy. Eileen says congratulations, well done.
Ah, thanks. Yeah, I'm really, really chuffed that we did it. It was really good actually. It really did make me think about, because I really do need to lose some weight, so it really did make me think about, you know, exercise and being more active and stuff. And we got to raise some money as well, which was lovely. So that's that one. And then we're going to do this one. Okay, so get it into this piece. Can I? Can I get it in here? Yeah, here we go. And get it into there. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my rotary cutter and ruler. Let's move it right over so I'm not wasting too much fabric, because I could get 2.5 inch squares and things out of that bit. I'm going to go down that side. Would help if I cut straight, wouldn't it? There we go. And down this side. Anybody else there having a chat?
No.
No?
Jane just said you can use scraps. I like it.
Yes, you could use little scrappy bits, absolutely. In fact, it would look, I mean, I know I'm doing a very sort of stylised colourway on this, but that's because I want it to fit in with something that I'm doing. But have a little Google of New York beauty quilts, and the colour variations are amazing. And it would be brilliant for scraps. It would be brilliant if you've bought those Fat 8 bundles, or the, you know, if you just had like a background fabric, a consistent background fabric, and you just use like all the Fat 8s, lots and lots of little scrap bits in here, that would be really, really good. Really good. So I'm just going to draw around that curve on this one. Are we all right for time, Drew? Because you're going to work.
Yeah, it's almost half past.
Okay,
Right,
won't be much longer. It's two seams of sewing, okay? There we go, like that. What time do you need to leave?
About 1/4.
Okay, won't be long. All right, so I might need to leave just the camera running. And oh no, because you need your phone, don't you? And
That'll be right.
That'll be right. And then we're going to just cut round that curve. Okay. So just carefully cut that out. Now, if I was going to do lots and lots and lots of these blocks, I would almost certainly make one of these at template plastic, because that way you can draw around it a lot easier. You can also stack these up 2 or 3, draw around them and cut them out. This is going to get quite damaged quite quickly, so I would make one out of some template plastic, which again, it's back in stock. It's on the website. Okay, so I've now got my 2 pieces. I've got my internal one and my external one. We're going to start by putting this one in, okay? Now, traditionally, you would need a lot of pins for this. So we would find the centre here, okay? So we'd fold it in half, find the centre, and then we'd find the centre of this one, like that, which is just there. We would line these up together, and then you would use a million pins and you'd pop a pin in like that, and you would ease this round with a pin, and you need a lot of pins, okay? And a pin literally at every 1/8 of an inch type thing, 1/4 of an inch. You'd pin, 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 pin all the way round that side, and then you would do the same this side, okay? So you would literally do this, and you just gently ease this, raw edges together, pop a pin in, raw edges together, pop a pin in, and you just keep going like that. Raw edges, raw edges, raw edges, all the way that side, and then you do the same that side, and then you sew a 1/4 of an inch down, okay? However, that's far too much pinning for me. And I learnt this little method when we did all the curve it up quilts, about, what's that, must be about 2 years ago now, the curve it up quilts. And it's a way of, you cross your hands and do it, and you do it free flow without any pins, and it works. It really does work. So we're going to go over to the machine, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to use a 1/4 inch foot. Okay, it's much easier to use a 1/4 inch foot when you're doing this method. Okay, so normally when we're sewing, okay, we'd go right sides together and you'd have your hands like this. Okay, we're going to sew with our hands like this. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, this method really does work. Okay, so we're going to start by putting them right sides together, okay, and you're going to line up that first edge, but you're going to overlap. Can you see you've got about, what's that, about 1/4 of an inch overlap. And I'm going to put this under the machine. I don't know if you want to just come behind me a minute, actually, Drew. That might help with point of view. So if you want to come behind me, stand here, you might be able to get in actually on this. So I've gone about 1/4 of an inch over, like that. I'm going to pop it under the machine, drop my foot down, and then I'm going to take just 1 or 2, right, I'm going to go slow, I'm going to turn it right down, okay? I'm going to take just 1 or 2 little stitches just to start. Okay, now we're used to sewing like this. We're not, we're going to sew like this. So I'm going to cross my hands, and my right hand is going to guide the top fabric, and my bottom hand is going to guide this fabric. And I tend to use my middle finger, and I'm going to line up just the first like 1/2 an inch. So raw edges together like that, 1/2 an inch, and I'm going to take 2 or 3 small stitches. I'm going to release, line up the next little bit, and I'm hoping you guys can see this. It's literally just a couple of, I'm just going to go about 1 inch or so, not even that, 1/2 an inch, okay, like that. And then I'm going to come, and then I'm going to reline up. All the while I'm keeping it against the guide of the 1/4 of an inch, so I'm keeping it against here, okay, just here. I'm hoping you can see this. Is it a better angle or not?
It's quite hard to get it.
Do you want to go this side? Would that be easier? I don't know if it was better right over my shoulder. Okay, now my hands are going to be in the way. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. So I'm going to take just a couple little stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reposition. So I'm using this hand to guide the bottom, this hand to guide the top. Okay. It does feel odd, okay, and I'm sure some of the ladies who have done this, Kath, Leslie, Carrie, I think you did it as well. We did this when we did the sunflower. Can you not get it?
No, fabric just blocking it.
Fabric. What about right over my shoulder, as if you're me? No?
I'll try that for me.
Try that. Sorry, ladies, we're trying to get the best angle to show you this. Okay. So I'm just moving this one to meet that fabric, taking a couple of little stitches, and again like that, and again and again. Okay. Now it does take a weeny bit of practice, but honestly the ladies in class, when we've done these, picked it up within about 20 minutes or so, all of them, and we've done this sort of stuff quite a lot. It's one of those things that once you get your head over the fact you've got to kind of use the opposite hands, it's brilliant. Okay, and that curve, and we have done this before when we did the drunkard's curve, I have shown you this before. That is now in, okay, and it's nice and flat. Can you see how lovely and flat that is? Don't worry that this is slightly skew width because you square it up, but can you see how nice and flat that seam is? Okay, because we weren't fighting it, because we weren't fighting with pins and stuff, it just seems to go in better. Okay, and then we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to do it with the top curve. Okay, so with the top curve, it's going to go in like that, right? So you would think, so when you put them right sides together, it looks odd, okay? You would think that this one would be on the top, but you don't. You actually want this one underneath, okay? Again, it feels a bit odd, so we're going to have this one underneath. And again, we're going to start about 1/4 inch down, like that, there, and we're going to put these together. Is everybody getting me so far? How are you doing with this technique, ladies? Let me know, okay? Like I said, it is slightly odd because it's different to what you would normally do. There we go. So I'm going to take 1 or 2 stitches just to anchor it. How are you doing? So 1 or 2 stitches just to anchor it. We're not sewing like that. We're going to cross our hands. So this one is going to have this piece. This is going to have this piece. I'm going to try and do it to the side so my hands are out of the way so you can get this. And I'm going to use this hand to move this fabric to line up those raw edges. And I tend to put my middle finger down to anchor it and take 2 or 3 little stitches. And then move this one over to anchor. And I find the guide on the 1/4 inch really, really useful at this point, because you've got something to kind of hold all the, it's like an extra pair of hands at this point, and it holds all the fabric in place. Okay, so around like that, 2 or 3 stitches. I mean, I'm not doing many stitches, maybe what, 3, 4, 5 before I stop, and stop with your needle down. Okay, and just work my way round. And I've got it on particularly slow, my machine as well, and I think it's quite good with this technique to start slow, really slow, because it gives you time to, so I'm using this one to do the top. If I was trying to do this, my hands would get in the way of each other, so this way, by crossing your hands, it keeps them out of the way, you know, keeps almost like your fingers out of the way so you can actually see what you're doing. Now I can see really well what I'm doing, but I'm hoping you guys can. And there we go, I'm nearly at the end. And just last little bit, line up that last bit there, and away we go. There we go. Oh, itchy nose. Okay, and again, that now will push out like that. Ooh, there's pins there. I was thinking what's gone on there. There's pins in the board, in the ironing board, like that. Pushes out like that, okay? And you've got lovely, lovely flat seams. Can you see how nicely that's gone in, okay? You would now square this up, all right? And I'm going to show you very, very quickly how to square it up. Now, in order not to lose any of these points, okay, you obviously need to give yourself a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to find the 1/4 inch line on my ruler and put that against that inner curve, okay? And I'm going to do the same down here. Now these will come out, it's 7 inch unfinished, which will be 6.5 finished, okay? So I'm going to go down that side and along the top, like that, and then turn that And then I can do 7 by 7. Okay, where is it? I've lost it. There it is, there and there. Okay, so I've now got a 1/4 inch off the top of that curve there as well. Okay, there we go. And that is all it now squared up and ready to be, and you would make lots of those blocks and they're ready to go together. So you can see by sort of playing around with my colours, they look quite different. Okay, now you can join them to make circles or half moons. You can do them all one way. Okay, you can see on this picture actually, you know, you can play around with the design. So these ones, you know, she's joined them like half moons. That top row is half moons. The bottom ones she's turned so it looks like these are going underneath. But there are hundreds of combinations of how you could put this together. You could put it together with sashing. You could put it together around a bigger block. You know, they could be like cornerstone-y pieces, you know, with bits in between. You know, you can really, really play around with this. You can do that sort of thing. Okay, yeah. So I could do 2 like that, 2 like that, and you'd have different, you know, different styles of things to play with. Okay, so that is my version. Well, kind of my version. It's Teresa Down Under's pattern, but this is kind of my version and how I put this on. Way of doing New York Beauty. Any questions or comments? Anybody there having a chat?
Jean said looks fab. Grace said great demo. Yes.
Sorry, I tried to swallow my tea then. I didn't want to swallow. Cool. Thanks. Lovely. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, just have a little practice. Those of you who've been with us right from the beginning of lockdown, we did the Drunkard's Path block for the isolation quilts. I showed you that crossover technique there as well. So right, if you don't want to sort of start it at this sort of piece, have a little go at doing that with the crossover first and really get that technique in. If it's not for you and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't come naturally, it does, you know, it takes a few minutes. You've got to kind of really make your brain think about crossing your hands because it really doesn't want to. We're so used to doing that. We really don't want to do that. That's why people find free motion difficult, because they were so used to doing that, and suddenly if you can go in all directions, that their brain's like, no, that's not right. Yeah, have a little go at it. If you can, you don't have to pin the hell out of it then. You don't have to put like, you know, 40 pins in one curve and then sew a few, take a pin out, sew a few, take a pin out. That actually, I do it I don't do it on full speed, but I do it a lot faster than normally, because you get into that rhythm. Once you've learned that little cross hand thing, it goes quite quickly. Okay, any other questions or anything?
No, Suzanne said it was very nice.
Cool, good. Glad you enjoyed it. So Sarah's back tomorrow. She is doing some felt embroidered hearts, really beautiful decoration. And she's got loads of little different techniques to show you, and how to play with the stitches on your machine and all sorts. So she's going to be doing that tomorrow. And yeah, thanks to everybody. Thank you so much to everybody who did sponsor us for our walk. It really did keep us going. Every time we got a little donation notification, we were like, "Ooh!" It made us keep going. It really did. If you haven't sponsored us yet, I'm going to purely beg now. Please do consider it, just so that we could hit our target. We'd really love that if we could hit our target. And yeah, we will see you all. Sarah will see you tomorrow, and I will be back on Monday. So take care. Bye.